Alright guys, I'm back today with Jack again, finishing first place. What did you play, mate, and what were your matchups?
I played Drytron again. So my matchups were round 1 I played Evil Twin Sprite, I assume. He didn't see the Sprite part of the deck if he was on it, otherwise he's just some pure Evil Twin. Round 2 was Branded Despia, and then I played rounds 3 and 4 were 2 Cash Dares in a row. One of them I won the die roll against, the other one I lost the die roll against. So yeah, meta decks, I suppose, which is a good sign. Good for, so yeah, do you want to get into the deck profile?
Yeah, mate, go for it.
Okay, so I've now managed to cut the list down to 40 cards, which is good because 40 cards let you see your power cards more often. It lets you see your sort of Arise outs more often. There are some Arise outs that are better than others, so it's good to cut down your deck size. You can see them more consistently. So with that said, Drytron engine. Fairly standard Drytron engine. I'm playing 3 alpha, 3 zeta, 2 gamma, and most people play 2 of this. I only play 1 of this. I don't think it's that good. It's just a 4th name that you need sometimes, but most games it doesn't even get into rotation. So it's more in there as like the turn 3 dump off of Fafnir than it is actually part of the engine. And then on top of that, 3 cyber emergency, such as any of these, so it's really good. Next, and this is going to start looking a bit weird. There's a few weird looking ratios in this deck, but I promise it's all math. So I played 2 Fafnir, 3 Nova, and 2 Meteorus. So the reason why this is math is that in a 40 card deck, the optimal number of cards you need to play to see exactly 1 copy and no more is 5. So because I'm on 2 Fafnir, 3 Nova, this means I have 5 copies of Nova. So theoretically, I should draw 1 Nova and no more as the most often. It isn't as bad as that because Fafnir can obviously grab Meteorus if you draw them both together. But I'm on 3 Nova just like Nova. It's better into draw buttons and stuff like that. So yeah, and then the last Drytron card is the one Meteorus Draconid. So this comes up in situations where you get your Ben 10 access cut off. So if they Ash Alpha and you don't draw another way to Ben 10, your end board has to be the Fafnir with a material plus this. So you have a Spell Trap Negate as well as a 1 to 2 sends. You can also add this to pay the ritual summoning requirement. This came up in one of my games today where Birth banished all of the names in my graveyard, so I had to go Meteorus Tribute Alpha from hand to summon Ben 10, Alpha Tribute the Ben 10, Alpha grabbed me this, and Ben 10 grabbed me Diviner. Normal Diviner, add this, and then I add back Meteorus, activate Meteorus, tribute this, summon the ritual I added, and then combo on from there. So that's why I'm on that specifically. And that's it for the Drytron engine. So next is sort of the Cyber Angel Light Fairy engine. And again, I'm on 3-2, 5 names. Again, 5 is the optimal number to see exactly 1 Ben 10. The way this deck loses is when you draw sort of too many Ben 10s or too many of the same name Drytrons. So it's really important to build your deck in a way where you're only opening 1 copy of each of the combo pieces. That's why I'm on this specifically, and obviously I'm on more Ben 10 than I am Preps for obvious reasons, but Prep also loses to draw, whereas Ben 10 doesn't, you know, stuff like that. Cyber Angel, Idaten, and Natasha, these are the other 2 Cyber Angel names. So I play Idaten, a lot of people have cut Idaten. The reason why I'm on Idaten is because it makes Alpha Zeta full combo. So what is full combo in this deck? Well, I'm going for Chaos Max first and foremost, but I find Chaos Max often isn't enough versus say trap decks. If you go for like blind Chaos Max and nothing else, and they set 5, you're cooked, right? So what I'll do is, if I set this up like this, I will set up Chaos Max with Dynamond, and in addition to this, I will have a Herald of Perfection here with fairies in hand. So on your opponent's turn, you can go draw phase Dynamond, summon Chaos Max effect, lock them out at monster effects, and then this remains on the board with fairies in hand. You only have one one monster, so you don't lose to Lava Golem, you don't lose to Sphere Mode. Combo isn't stopped by Imperm, it's not stopped by Eclipse, it's not stopped by anything that people are playing to beat Kashtira. And people are on these sort of weird Kashtira beating board breakers, and as a result aren't necessarily on enough hand traps to stop you resolving this. So that's why I'm on that. And then of course I'm on the Yida 10. This card's crazy. Going second, you just take all of your opponent's guys, swing for game with them. I actually didn't do this once today. I didn't summon Yida 10 once today. But I swear it comes up and I swear you have to play it. It also wins in time. It has a life game effect for some reason, so it's very mandatory in this deck. Next part of the engine is the Choju package. So Choju plus Herald, plus Dawn of the Herald. So standard combo in this deck is to ritual summon the Benten from grave using Meteornius, and then tribute summon the Choju over the Benten. You get chaining 1 Choju, chaining 2 Benten. Choju adds you both parts of these, and Benten adds you another Benten. You Dawn, tribute the Benten to summon Herald. Triggers Benten again, then Dawn banishes, adds Benten back again. So you end up resolving 4 or 5 Bentens in a single turn. And then when you get to Dynamondo, you normally have an extra monster on board, so you can shuffle back a Benten back into the deck. And it's like you're playing 4 Bentens. You just get to keep recycling Bentens. I did this in my final a lot. The person I was playing said, yeah, I thought you went through all your Bentens or something along those lines. It's like, no, I shuffled a Benten back every turn with Dynamondo, so I had another Benten to add, recycling my Light Fairies. So that's that. More on the Light Fairy package. Diviner, this only really comes up going second, truthfully, on like weird hands where you hard draw it. This can send either Herald and Tis in this deck. Herald obviously gets your ritual name, and Tis is a pop. This is how you out. Floodgates, weird back row, helps you push, very important. Orange Light. So Orange Light is in there so that Zeta Benten doesn't lose to Nib. If you don't play Orange Light, then you can't beat Nib with Zeta Benten. You do need another fairy in addition to it, so it's more like Zeta Benten fairy. But essentially when you do Zeta Benten combo, you have to summon Perfection and use it to make Beatrice. So if you add this off your Benten ad when you make the Beatrice, the rest of your combo is protected from Nib. So there's that. One thing of note I'm not playing is Lancia. So I'm not playing Lancia in this list because, or at least I'm not playing Lancia main deck, because if you go first, you full combo, you win. If you go second, Lancia doesn't stop Kashtira making a Rise Heart, which is really the part of the board you worry about. So if you just Lancia them, they make a Rise Heart anyway, you are 1 card down versus a Rise Heart. So Lancia comes in post side, and I'll show you why it comes in post side for a reason for that. But in main, I don't think it's worth it. It's also not good versus every matchup. So I'd rather just keep the sort of bricky fairies low and really just play these Stone Choju. Last engine card in the deck is Magician of Black Chaos Max. Yeah, this card's crazy. Locks them off monster effects. Some decks do have things they can do versus them. For instance, Branded can set up Cartesia and Quick Fuse when it comes back to you. They can still Branded Fusion. They can still like set Branded in red and stuff like that. But where you have all your Drytron names in graveyard, it's a lot of follow-up for them to try and stop with a very minimal board. So you should win those games anyway, even if they can set up or stuff through it. And then the last part of the deck, again, this is going to look quite weird, but I promise it's math. So I'm playing 3 Book of Eclipse, 1 Book of Moon, and 3 Talents. So this is 7 going second cards. When you're going first in 40 cards, the optimal number to draw 1 or more copies of a card is 8. While minimizing the chance of drawing 2 or more. When you bring the 6th card into the equation, it goes down to 7. So this number of go second cards maximizes the chance we're going to see 1+, while minimizing the chance we're going to see 2+. Because really all you have to do is see Anna Rise Heart out, then combo through it, and put them on you haven't drawn lands. The reason why it's 3 Book, 3 Talents, 1 Book of Moon is that these 6 are the best, and this one is really just the 40th card in the deck. The reason why I'm playing these cards in particular as well, over something like, I don't know, Lava Golem, stuff like that, is 1, not only because most Kashtira players now are a Rise Heart passing, but 2, these are also very good going first. So if you're going first and you get ashed, you can talent, rip another card out of hand, or draw 2, helps you extend. And the books in particular, they help you dodge Imperm, they help you dodge Veiler, because you can tribute your face down Drytrons for other Drytrons, or you can Meteonis them, or you can tribute someone over them. Then these cards are really pseudo cool by the grace for the deck on top of that. So you're playing 7 Arise Heart outs that also help your combo. So there's that. Yeah, but yeah, that's the point as well. If you are hand trapped and you can't combo, these are the strongest go first tools versus Kashtera. Especially if they have to use a lot of non-engine to stop you, it's unlikely that they will have the engine necessary to push for like a Book of Moon on their first summon. So that's the main deck. 40 cards.
Extra.
Yep, extra. So, extra, 2 Mu Beta, 1 for first turn, 1 for second turn. Standard Alpha Zeta combo shuffles one of these back along with a Ben 10 into the deck. So, if your opponent somehow, like, they somehow set up something, and then on your turn, they have, like, a Unicorn up, they can't Unicorn out a Fafnir to stop them from killing you, because you'll still have 2 in your extra deck after you've comboed. Beatrice, yeah, card's crazy, part of the standard combo. If you open Alpha Zeta Benton, you don't have to go through Beatrice, you get to keep an extra fairy in hand for Orange Light, which is really clean. Lil Fucko, so this card is sort of dual purpose in this deck. First, this helps you make Zeus, because it's unaffected and you can detach to protect from battle. Unfortunately, if they summon all of their guys and attack, when you go to downward, they can banish the Fucko, which is a disadvantage compared to the low realistic Cs. But the low realistic Cs can also be just straight up banished by a Rise Heart, so I think it's not really as much of a downside as it sort of seems to be. The other thing why this card is really important is versus Droll and Shifter. So if you are Droll, you can just set up this and pass. You don't die, you have all your names, you have another top deck, and you can try again next turn. And then Shift is really the really important one. So this is where the 1 Lancer in the side deck comes in. So if you draw, say, 2 random Drytron names, let's just pick ones that won't have effects, quote unquote. So say I have Delta Gamma Ben 10. If your opponent shotgun Shifter, you can start with Drytron name Tribute Ben 10. Move these for now. So it'll be Drytron name Tribute Ben 10. Which is then banished. Ben 10 add Ben 10 because it still triggers when it's banished. Drytron name, tribute Ben 10, still banished. Ben 10 add Lancia, and then you can overlay Fucko Kinagashi Fucko, and then your opponent's turn, you can drop Lancia, go Fucko effect, detach 2, and then both of your names go to graveyard, rather than being banished, and your opponent's under the Lancia for the turn, which if they're cash, won't necessarily stop them making a Rise Heart, but it should slow them down enough that hopefully your 2 names in addition to your draw will be enough to sort of break the board and stop them. So, yep, that's why I play that in particular. I'll go back to the extra deck, sorry about that.
That's alright.
So a little detour. So Fafnir, Beatrice, Little Fucko. And then obviously down Magician, double Zeus. You do have to play Zeus, otherwise Kashtera, just look at your extra deck and take one out. Or take it out. It is what it is. Some games you do summon the second though. That has come up, so it's quite nice. This is Linkuriboh. So the other option you can play with Linkuriboh is the Relinquished Anima. I personally like Linkuriboh a little bit more because the down arrow helps with things like Nightmare Unicorn co-linking, Nightmare Phoenix co-linking, which I'm now playing. Yeah. Or in particular, sort of in follow-up turns or when you're in a grind versus Kashtera, if they attempt to banish a Drytron name, you can tribute it for Linkuriboh, summon it, dodge the banish, and keep an extra link material. So that's something that comes up a decent bit for me. Makes it worth it to play over Anima, because good players play around Anima anyway, and the best decks are summoning the dudes in the extra monster zone, so Anima just really doesn't come up for me. Main of the links are 2 Dynamondo, wherever I put the second, there's a second. 2 Dynamondo, so this is how you do the lock. In draw phase, you tribute this, you summon Chaos Max, and then you go Chaos Max effect, tribute itself, lock them out of monster effects. Dodges Imperm because it's all for cost. The reason why you play 2 is because this card's also Nightmare Unicorn for some reason. So you get a Dynamondo lock them, and on follow-up turn you get a Dynamondo spin something and then kill them. Another thing that comes up, which I did versus Lloyd in the finals, is that you can actually lock them 2 turns in a row with Dynamondo. So you can Dynamondo them once. If you can't sufficiently get game while playing through Nib or whatever else, just set up the second Dynamondo, lock them for another turn, and then on the last turn. Next is an IP. So you can IP into Dynamondo for the Unicorn effect. So this is something that comes up a lot in like weird hands. If you end up with IP plus Herald, you can use all your Herald negates, IP into Dynamondo, spin something else, and then go Dynamondo effect, add back event 10, you get follow up. Nightmare Phoenix. So this used to be the Herald link too. I cut this for Nightmare Phoenix to have a slightly better matchup versus back row. You can also co-link it with Link Reaver, get draws. Really strong. Broadsword for game. Broadsword's better than Access Code in this deck because you can attach and steal problematic monsters anyway. And you just need the damage because this makes an 8k breakpoint with new beta, 3k, 3k, 2k. And then the last 2 slots in the extra deck are Herald of the Arclight and Elden Synthesis as your Diviner targets. And there you go, that is it.
Alright guys, alright Jack, thank you again. You taught me making this channel grow a bit quicker than I thought it would be. But yeah, we're off to an OGS Championship tomorrow.
I forgot side deck.
Oh,
did you do that?
Yeah. Sorry. No. Side deck time. Side deck.
Okay, sure. So side deck. So I'm playing 1 Lancia. This is against Cash going second, because it's not that strong going second. It is more in there for going first versus D-Shifter. So again, you do the Bent Handler to add this. I'm playing 3 Lava Golem, 1 Volcanic Queen. So again, side deck patterns are side deck's gonna look a little bit weird in terms of ratios, but it's all siding patterns. I know what I'm taking out versus each deck and what I'm putting in versus each deck. These 4 going versus Cash. One thing I'm thinking of experimenting with, but I didn't own them, was the Divine Cart, whatever it is, Kurikara, because Kurikara beats both a Rise Pass and full 5-spell Trap Zone Kashtira board, which no other side card board breaker that I can think of does. Not only that, can't be normal summon or set, so it beats the Drytron restriction. And it's also at level 1, so you can overlay it for Fafnir. So that's probably something I'm going to be testing in the future over these 3 slots. Maybe this will become a second Book of Moon as part of my siding pattern, so I can keep my normal summon engine post-side, but we'll see. Next is double Linger Evo. You unfortunately need these if you're up against Kashtira and they decide to Ibly lock you. My side outs for those IP and Unicorn, IP and Phoenix, sorry, for the 2 lings. Next up, Triple Ash. So this is the only hand trap I play across the whole list. These come in against trap decks, so Labyrinth, Trap Tricks, but they're primarily in there for branded. So your only real shot versus the Gimmick Pop Lock is to Ash Branded Fusion and hope for the best. If they draw that out to Ash, unfortunate. If they lock you through Ash, unfortunate. It is probably this deck's worst matchup, but this is really the only bit game you have against it. Next, is Gravity Dragon. So this card's cool. This card is Hey Trunade when it's summoned, or Giant Trunade when it's summoned rather. So against the Labyrinth board, instead of setting up the Dynamon lock, which doesn't do anything versus Labyrinth, you set this, or the Chaos Max lock, you set up this with Dynamon instead, and when they go end phase, you'll go effect summon this, effect bounce all of your back row, and you just kill them on the follow-up. And then more for back row, so I play 1 Cyclone, again starting patterns, I know it's a bit weird, along with 3 evenly. And there you go, that's the list. So,
alright, second time. Thanks Jack for the deck profile.
No worries.
This man is topping locals again. We should never bother turning up, shall we? None of us. Alright, cheers Jack, thanks for the deck profile. We'll go to OGS Championship tomorrow. Bye.